On this episode of Designing Spaces, we take a deep dive into the exciting possibilities of home refinancing and home purchasing loans, with advice from homeowners and tried and tested tips for getting the most for your money and finding the home of your dreams. Let's get designing. Everyone wants to live in their dream home, but rising costs and real estate prices can make finding the perfect house a tall order. For many, mortgages and refinancing can be intimidating and stressful. Sources like HouseWire.com report that for most Americans, buying a home is the most stressful event in adult life.
Buying a home for the first time, it's scary because you're committing to something potentially for a lot of years to come.
The biggest reason, in my opinion, homeowners get nervous is there's only a few events in your life that are truly life-changing. When you pick your spouse or your partner, you pick your career path. I think when you buy your first home, we're never really taught how a mortgage works or how credit works, so it can be extremely anxiety-driven. And that's why what lenders try and do is put clients and educate them from start to finish to make sure that they can take some of that stress down.
Finding the right financing partner can go a long way towards relieving the stress many homeowners-to-be experience. Fortunately, companies like JFQ Lending, one of the top 10 largest national correspondent mortgage companies in the nation, are committed to providing the necessary support for new and established homeowners.
JFQ Lending was founded in August of 2017. I'm super lucky, just my partner and I. We had about 16 members, no outside funding, no private equity. Neither my partner and I have trust funds. We're just a couple of guys that work super hard. We've since grown to a company of over 500 team members. We funded over $8 billion in mortgage transactions the last 2 years, and we handle everything from purchase loans to refinance loans to home equity lines of credit. Anything in the mortgage residential space we can handle for clients. A lot of people, when I was growing up, coming up through business school and college, talk about culture. It's this crazy word, this catch-all word. Culture starts at the top. So one of the things my partner and I were adamant about is people over profits. It's how we've led the company from day one. We've funded hundreds of loans that didn't make revenue for the company, but it was the right thing to do for not only our clients, but also our team members. And we love creating an organization where people come into the office, they have fun. Our vendors speak extremely highly about us because we're a yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am company. And we love to help out as many clients as we possibly can across the country. My journey into finance was actually more of luck than by choice. When I graduated from school, I didn't really have any options. It was 2008, and for those of you that are familiar with the mortgage industry, things blew up. I started in August of 2008 not knowing any better, and I just needed a job out of school. My entire life, I'd always grown up. I used to read the newspaper and look through stock tickers. When I realized what a mortgage was, at first it didn't sound very fun or very sexy for a 21, 22-year-old kid out of college, but what I realized I got to talk to people every day. I enjoy speaking to people, I enjoy helping people, and then as you progress your career, you start getting stories. When you help somebody so much, you have people on the other end of the phone that are crying with tears. I still remember borrowers from 2009, 2010, when the economy is crashing, people are losing their jobs, they don't know what's going on. Being able to save people money, truthfully, is life-changing opportunities, and that's one of the things I love about finance. One of the main things that makes me qualified to help is I've sat on both sides of the transaction. Not only have I closed thousands of loans as a loan officer, director, vice president of sales, but I've also bought multiple homes, so I've seen on the other end as a consumer what that process can look like from start to finish.
When Designing Spaces returns, we learn how JFQ Lending helped 39,000 people land in the perfect home for them, and later, some fantastic tips for refinancing your home. Buying the home of your dreams is easier said than done, especially for first-time homeowners. There are a lot of steps beyond just finding the right house.
When we were looking for homes, we wanted a home that was in a nice gated development. That was important to us. We wanted an open concept for our first home because it was just my wife and I. We just wanted vaulted ceilings was important to us. Even though I'm short, I like the tall ceilings.
I wanted privacy in the backyard. That was important to me. And so we looked at 10 different homes.
We were looking for something less than $300,000 when we got it, since it was our first home. And with the HOA included with that, it was something we could definitely afford.
And then we found this house. And when I saw it, this was the one that I knew I wanted. There was some doubt when we found the house and we loved the house, but then we were in the process of the negotiations and making sure we were going to be able to get the house. And so financing was obviously a big part of that.
My brother, who is in the Navy, retired Navy now, and he is a realtor. And so he has got a good relationship with JFQ Lending. He put us in contact with them for financing.
So when a homeowner is looking for a home, here's how the process would work is you'd call your lender. You want to get what's called a pre-approval letter.
When we started the pre-approval process, we had to get all the documentation needed for that actual pre-approval.
What that means is you've gotten with your lender, they've had a credit report pulled, you've disclosed your income, your assets, how much of a down payment you'd like to make. The most important part is working with a trusted lender. There's tens of thousands of options out there. Find somebody that has better business reviews, Google reviews, referral from friends and family to make sure that you have somebody that can hold your hand throughout the home buying process from start to finish.
Once we send in all of our documentation, they end up reaching out to us immediately afterwards, and we're able to start the purchase of our home.
There's a lot of advice I'd give a client purchasing a home in 2022. The most important one, I think I would say, is number one, take a deep breath. It's gonna be a little scary process. You gotta understand that you may put an offer in on 10 or 15 different homes and not get accepted. You can't get discouraged.
So our realtor kind of made us a little bit nervous because he said that when you're shopping for homes, you can look at 10 to 15, but the offers may not go through.
We're in the most competitive environment for people buying and selling homes that we've ever seen in the industry, going back 50, 60 years.
We were very fortunate. We loved this home, and this is the actual home that we got, which was great. Once our home offer got accepted, we were really worried because we didn't know the next steps.
I was a first-time home buyer with Chris. It was very important to me to have a low monthly payment and also a low interest rate.
Questions I would ask, number one, when can you lock my interest rate? The reason for that is interest rates are like the stock market. They go up, they go down, every single day it changes. So there's not a lot of lenders out there that can lock an interest rate up front. You want that protection. Because the last thing you want to have happen is you find the home of your dreams, you get a quote from your lender, and then you go to close and you find out they didn't lock your interest rate and your payment's $50 to $100 higher per month. The second question I would focus on and ask is, what does your term times look like on average? What that means is from the time I submit you my loan documents, how long is it going to take you to close my loan? And then how quickly are you going to get me answers if I call you, email you, or text you? Because again, if I'm a homeowner, this is going to be my largest financial asset. I want to make sure I'm working with somebody that I can trust.
JFQ, I mean, they really fought hard to help us to get the house that we wanted.
So Chris's experience, Chris and Amelia, was a little bit of a unique experience because when Chris bought his home, he's a chiropractor, he's self-employed. So one of the unique things is when you're self-employed, typically you're gonna have to provide 2 years of tax returns. He had not been a chiropractor with 2 full years of income. So a lot of folks that are self-employed don't know this. There are loan options out there that can allow us to qualify you for a loan, which is one of the ways we help Chris and Amelia get into their home, right? And then one of the things that JFQ does is when you close on your home, we are never gonna have you make a payment to our company. So what that means is our goal is to make sure you always have the lowest possible interest rate forever. You don't pay interest to us, we don't make money off your mortgage payment, unlike a bank. So one of the main benefits and what Chris and Amelia really loved about JFQ is that after we closed on their home purchase, we watch and track their loan forever.
So about 5 years ago, we closed our house with JFQ Lending. And about a year and a half ago, unbeknownst to me, I get a phone call.
We proactively called Chris and Amelia. We said, hey, we've got great news for you. Interest rates have come down. We're gonna proactively reach out to you to do a refinance, lower your interest rate, cover most if not all the costs, and put you and your family to a better spot.
And when he reached out to us and told us that, we were saving a lot. We actually ended up saving about $400 a month on our mortgage payment.
What a refinance is when you have an existing mortgage, you look to go do a refinance, which means you're gonna upgrade that loan in some way, shape, or form, typically to do one of 3 things. You wanna lower your interest rate to save money per month. You wanna take cash out of your home for home improvements or for whatever you may need money for, or you wanna shorten the term and pay it off earlier to save money and interest. One of the unique things about JFQ is we've got a bilingual division and we have an office in Puerto Rico, which we launched about a year ago, which is cool. But I had the rare privilege on the way to Puerto Rico, I had to stop in Florida. I had a day and a half. I got to meet Chris. I got to meet Amelia. I got to meet their 8-month-old child, Chris Jr. And it was cool to see what a client goes through, hear their perception of JFQ, how the process worked. And it was even better to see what they had done. And then connecting with our clients is something I don't get the chance to do very often, but it was something that was cool to do. First of all, thanks for having me. Beautiful home, beautiful family. And I always see online alligators. We're walking right here, and is there a chance there's like an alligator hanging out here? Is that a common thing?
Whether it's your first time or your 5th, buying a home will always be a complex process.
This is not my first home purchase. This is my 3rd home that I've ever owned, myself and my husband. So when we decided to look for a home in the Central Florida area, I was still in the Navy at the time, and I lived about an hour and a half south of where we are now. My good friend and real estate agent lived in the Central Florida area, and so I was able to connect with him and share with him what I was looking for in a home, what were my must-haves, what were my nice-to-haves. I wanted a pool, I wanted a lot of windows, I wanted space, each of my kids to have their own room, and with a big family, sometimes that's hard to come by. And we went from house to house, of course, looking at all the different options. I kept coming back to this one. It was the perfect location. I had the support system that I needed. This was the place that we wanted to be, and JFQ made it happen for us. You can be a repeat home buyer, but every situation is different. To have JFQ there almost holding our hand the whole way, any questions that we had, we were able to go back.
So one of the things clients ask me is, how much of a home should I buy? I actually flip that around to clients, and my question to them is, what payment are you comfortable with? I think a lot of times as consumers, we get caught up in interest rate. That's not always the most important thing. There's special programs out there that can allow you to have a smaller down payment, for example, or not have to pay mortgage insurance, which lowers your payment. The most important thing, in my opinion, is getting into a home that you're comfortable with. You should talk to a trusted mortgage professional and say, here's all my other expenses. What do you think I should look for as far as total value of this home?
We knew where we were, what market we were in, what we wanted to pay. It was a scary time because not only were we purchasing a home, our finances were transitioning. We were either exiting the military, we were changing jobs.
One of the biggest rules of thumb that I would tell folks is you have to understand your finances, because what a lender is going to do when we pull up your credit report, we're only going to look at the debts on your credit report, student loans, credit cards, car payments. But as we all know, life has a lot of other expenses that are out there. Could be health insurance, cell phone bill, groceries, daycare. A lender's not going to know those expenses. It doesn't factor in if you qualify or not. So my advice to a homeowner would be, understand what all of your expenses are, not just what shows up on your credit report, because that's the only number a lender is going to look at to qualify you for a home.
That is a time when you are vulnerable. You're going to start talking about finances, and that's pretty personal. Credit scores are going to be shown. All of that stuff sort of is out in black and white. And, we haven't always had perfect credit.
We think buying a home is this crazy, arduous process, and you have to have perfect credit and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. That's just not true. I can work with you to improve your credit score. I've got down payment options as low as 3.5%. I've got options to waive mortgage insurance. You just have to give somebody a call and see what you qualify for, because right now is one of the best times in history to stop renting and start buying a home, based off the fact that home rental properties and rental costs keep going up every single month in this economy.
We've had our stumbles, but to be able to say we've worked so hard, this is what we have, this is where we are. Because I have found over buying multiple homes that they've seen it all. With their help and advice, we were able to put in an offer on the house. It didn't get accepted the first time. We raised our offer. It didn't get accepted again. We made some changes based on recommendations of our advisors, JFQ Lending, and we were able to come in, get what we wanted. Even though we were offering the asking price, we were able to recover some things in other areas that we didn't even know about as just home buyers.
A lot of homeowners don't know The seller of the home actually pays the real estate cost for the realtor. So what that means, if I'm a homeowner, I'm gonna find the absolute best realtor because I'm not paying for that individual, and I'm gonna make sure I get the best home of my dreams.
They were patient and understanding. They listened to what our concerns were. They listened to what our family situation was. And when we said, this is what we feel comfortable with, no more, they helped us get to that price point. I love the home because we're all here. This house could be anywhere, this could be any house, but this is a place where we put things up on the walls. We made upgrades and renovations because it was our forever home.
When Designing Spaces returns, learn how JFQ gives back by helping local communities in need through the work of the Ronald McDonald House. It's not enough to want to help aspiring homeowners find their dream home or existing homeowners create a better one. Helping the less fortunate and strengthening the surrounding community are central missions of JFQ Lending.
One of the pillars of the organization is giving back to the community. I didn't grow up ultra wealthy. We were middle class. I've worked my entire life since I was 12 years old. Being in a position to give back now as a CEO of an awesome, phenomenal organization is great. We work with Phoenix Children's Hospital. We worked with a no-kill shelter for dogs and animals in Scottsdale, Arizona. And one of the biggest partnerships we have is with the Ronald McDonald House.
Ronald McDonald House is a home away from home for families who are traveling to the Valley to receive medical care for their children. We are a global organization with houses all over the world, and we opened our doors here in Phoenix in 1985 with our first house, and now we have 3 houses in the Valley, and we have the ability to serve 72 families across the Valley who are receiving medical care for their children. We see everything from children who are going through organ transplants, cancer treatment, blood disorders. We see the gamut of everything.
When the message really hit home for me is about 3 months after my first daughter was born. I was asked to sit on the board of directors for the local chapter, and I found out the mission of the house. God forbid my 3-month-old daughter has a life-threatening emergency, not having the financial resources to take care of her, it broke my heart. And so what the Ronald McDonald House does is it takes that stress off of parents and provides a home away from home.
You know, one of the things that we always tell people that's important to know is that oftentimes families leave with very little notice. They leave their families behind, they leave their jobs, they leave their support systems, and they travel to do whatever they can to fight for their child's life.
That really resonated with me, having a small, healthy child, of what life could be like if she wasn't.
JFQ is a very important partner to the Ronald McDonald House here in central and northern Arizona. John has served on our board of directors and has been just a champion of our mission within his organizations and throughout the community. The one thing that JFQ did that was amazing is they adopted a wing of rooms here at our Roanoke house. During COVID, we took the time to completely refurbish all of our rooms. And in order to do that, we had to raise a lot of money. So JFQ adopted a wing of 5 rooms. Those rooms were cared for and continuously maintained by JFQ. And we are just beyond grateful to have him as a partner.
We're in a position to help those that are less fortunate. They need people to step up, and that's what we're gonna do as a company. If somebody had no idea who or what JFQ was, as simply as I can possibly put it, we're a mortgage company. We're licensed in over 40 different states across the country, where if you're looking to buy a new home, you can call us, we'll provide the financing for it. Or if you're looking to do a refinance on your existing mortgage, we can help you with that as well. And if you're out there and you're worried your credit's not good enough or you don't make enough income, there are thousands of programs available to all types of borrowers. All I need is 15 minutes of your time. We're not gonna charge you $1 for it, but you're gonna leave that conversation feeling a heck of a lot better about your personal finances because we're gonna educate you along the way.
To learn more about the financing solutions and services provided by JFQ Lending, including the charitable work with Ronald McDonald House, visit jfqlending.com or designingspaces.tv. Promotional consideration provided by JFQ Lending. To contact JFQ Lending, call 1-800-391-4306 or visit jfqlending.com.